Okay, please can we meet you?
Hello. Hello. I'm Kehinde Daniel, MD Kots Catering Nigeria Limited. Of course, I've been in the business now for about 35 years.
Wow.
And honestly, I give God the glory. It's been a journey worth sharing. I started with, well, I studied hospitality management in the UK, worked in the UK for about 2.5 years. Then I came home, studied, did my national service with Sheraton Hotel, and then after that, Kots Catering was born.
Interesting.
Why did I start off with, or how did I come about Kots Catering? In those days, when I came back from the UK, it also happens that when people have parties, they still used to serve food in coolers and containers, and I felt that I went away to England and of course I knew better. The health and safety issues of transporting food and serving food out of your comfort zone of your kitchen or your restaurant, two different things. We are an independent food service provider. And what does that mean? It means that we cook from our base, and we take food to wherever it needs to be served, or we actually cook on site for you, but we're still carrying food from our materials from one place to another. Basically, they move up and down. Now, I felt that a lot needed to be done. We would go to parties and then they would use all this plastic kind of tablecloth like things, and believe it or not, when you go to a function, yes, you're inviting so many people, but you still want people to feel that they are being, they're being, how do I put it now, you're taking care of them. You're out like in a kind of restaurant kind of ambience, and it's beautiful, and you're going to be served nicely. So I decided that it was time for me to go into catering, but it was hard. I was working nights at the Sheraton Hotel, and during the course of the day, I would make sandwiches. By the way, I used to make sandwiches. I was known as a sandwich. All of this was working at aero contractors, and I would make sandwiches and deliver during lunchtime, and that's how really Kots Catering really started its business. We moved into aero contractors. We had a restaurant upstairs, and we started doing the in-flight catering. And then we started doing industrial catering, cooking for offices, and then factories, and now we cook for schools as well. All of these little businesses, or shall I say sectors, they're similar but very different. Excuse me. They're very different. There's certain requirements that the schools have or need. The industrial industries don't really need some of that, but they need a bit. However, major key issues that you really need to look at is health and safety. The health and safety, food safety of your of the meals that you provide is key. The food itself and the environment in which you cook it are major points that you really, really need to take care of. And at Kots Catering is one of the things that we thrive on, and we make sure that whatever we deliver, we take into consideration its safety and health and safety of the food, of the staff, and our environment. What else can I say? You know, Kots is very, very big on the safety of our food. It is the key. It is our brand. It's part of that's what makes the brand. When you say food safety, you have to train. We do spend quite a bit of money on training. I mean, there's no point in employing people and not training them on what they are supposed to do. It's not easy. It has not been easy. But these are part of the things that help with our pricing structure that we need to take into account. We've got to train. We've got to make sure our environment is spick and span. We keep records. Maintenance of equipment is key. And you know, it goes on and on and on. But like I keep saying to people, when you feed people, you want to know that where you get your inventory, your products, you can beat your chest. There's traceability. You can trace whatever it is that you buy and you cook and you sell. If there's an issue, how do you know what caused it? Apart from training, we do our health and safety checks. We do that twice a year for every food handler. All the food handlers have to do it, and we're very big on it, which I must say helped us during the pandemic, because we already knew and we know basic things are, first thing you must do is wash your hands. You must wash your hands every now and then. So wherever you are, in the kitchens or whatever we have, where to wash your hands. We have a hand washing sink solely for washing hands. And as part of the training, we teach them personal hygiene is key. And of course, hand washing falls under personal hygiene. Where you buy your stuff from, what you do, why you have to sanitize your kitchen area after cooking. So it's not just about washing and cleaning, because you can sanitize and you can sanitize, or you have to sanitize, not you can. You have to sanitize your utensils, your tabletops, etc., etc.
Okay, well, I'd like to ask you one question. What would you say differentiates Kots Catering from the average caterer? Using Nigeria as a case study, what would you say differentiates Kots Catering from the average caterer in Nigeria?
The average caterer, Kots Catering, are two different things. I cannot say that they do not practice health and safety, food safety. If you do, it will show in what you do, no matter what. It will show in the staff, it will show in the food that you produce, and it will show in basically your brand. The honest truth is that I don't know what other people do, but I know what we do, and we do it right. That's what I would say. I cannot speak for other people, but I can speak for Kots Catering, and we do it right, to the best of our ability.
Okay. Okay, so I know you already made reference to this, but what would you say the vision is for the Kots Catering brand? What inspires you to want to make changes to do things better? What are some things that drive you or that motivate you to do better with the brand?
Um, it's interesting that you asked this question. What motivates you? You know, the world is becoming global. Excuse me. The world is becoming, it is becoming, and has become global anyway. So there are things, there are standards that have become global, and you have to follow, you have to read, you have to educate yourself, you have to look at these things, and you have to practice. It's one thing to 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 read. It's another thing to implement. Implementation is key, and I tell you, it's not easy. But once you do that, you're well on your way. Kots Catering is ISO certified. Um, we're now in the process of, okay, how do I put it now? Renewal. So we know what is expected, and believe it or not, it's not easy. And bottom line is, it drives your costs. But if you want to be a global company, those are the things that you have to do.
Okay, now speaking of costs, what is our pricing like, and what is the strategy behind our pricing? What influences our pricing? Because I have some people who feel like our pricing can be a bit steep, but I always tell them, like, for the value we bring, we are very cost effective. So I'd like you to shed some more light on that.
Okay. I say to myself, do you do your costing properly? That's the bottom line. First thing is first, you've got to look at your menu, what is seasonal. You've got to look at the cost of what you buy and where you buy. You have to use reputable suppliers. Why do you use reputable suppliers? If there is an issue, it's all part of being able to trace the ingredients and items that you've bought. It's so easy to go to the markets to buy these things, but there are many things that you see in the markets that honestly, if I begin to say these things, you probably won't even want to eat anymore. So I'll leave that for another day. But so you look at things like that. You look at your environment, where you prepare your food, how you prepare it, all the things you use for cleaning, how you maintain your cleaning, how you, the kind of equipment that you buy. It's so easy to say, oh, I can cook for 100 people, I can cook for 50 people. But when you're cooking for 200 people every day, day in, day out, you better be sure that you buy industrial equipment that can cope with the pressures of the cooking, refrigerating, temperature control. You've got to make sure that you serve food hot, and you serve food cold, or storing them. Now, you need lots of freezers, you need a cold room, you need a chiller, and really and truthfully, all of these things cost money, one, to buy and to maintain. So these are part of the things that also go into the costs. Then you look at the staff, you have to train them, and you have got to make sure that you wash their uniforms, the uniforms are clean, they look smart at all times. Now, you've cooked the food. How do you move the food from point A to B? You have to make sure that the food is stored in again, like I said, storing cold food cold and hot food hot, and you're moving it. But believe it or not, who takes care of delivery? That's a big question. And I'm sure lots of people will really want to ask these questions. But then you now rely on delivery companies to move your items from one place to the other. For instance, you're catering for 250 people. You will need a minimum of about 3,000 pieces of equipment. Now, how do you move those things from one end of town to the other? How do you move the staff? You have to make sure that the staff too are taken care of. Their health and safety is taken care of. You have to feed them. You have to do their medicals, make sure that they are all certified to handle food. All of these costs all unfortunately come to a head, and you have to take care of these things. So these are areas that people don't think of. We just think of, oh, this is the plate of food. But there's so many elements, which I've already mentioned, that you have to talk about and take care of when you're doing your costing. Now, the last thing I would like to point out is you have the service staff. Service staff range from your person, the company staff. You've got to engage people that on a part-time basis, but you want to keep them loyal at all times. You've got to pay them a decent wage. I ask a question. When we have functions, the function starts 2 or 3 days before. But let me I'll take on the day, because we're talking about the service staff. They've prepared the day before, making sure that all of the equipment, as I told, 1, 2 o'clock, the lunch starts. So there's people who have actually set up. Then there's people who are actually serving. And then there's the people, there are people who do the clearing and then packing the things back. That's more like 7 o'clock. They're there for well over 12, 14 hours a day, sometimes more. And at the end of the day, they're not paid properly. What do you expect? Lots of things. You don't feed them, you don't pay them properly, they will steal. They will take things that don't belong to them. They're only being human. But then, if you feed them, you pay them a decent wage for the hours they've worked, the likelihood of them taking those things is slim. And when you reprimand 1 or 2 of them, they know that it's not on. So these are some of the things that we need to do, and these are some of the costs that we need to these are some of the costs that we have to bear, and unfortunately we pass it on to the client. And so therefore people say cost is expensive. Unfortunately, I tend to disagree with you. We give you value for.
In 10 reasons why you need to choose Kots Catering, please hold on for this last reason.
Kots Catering is simply the best.
Exceptional.
We give you value for money. You can bet that if you are catering for 200 people, 200 people will be served. Basically, we give you what you ask and what you pay for.
Great. Okay, so we'll be back some other time to do this, specifically to talk about the pricing extensively and some more. It was nice catching up with you, Mrs. Daniels. Any last words for us?
I hope to see more of you asking questions, talking to me so that I can encourage you. And please, please, don't run away. We meet you at your point of need. We try to work with your prices. Like I said, We give you value for money. It's amazing. People think we only charge, I don't want to say. Don't worry, we're there for you. Whatever the cost is, we'll try as hard as possible to work with you. Like I said, to deliver and give you value